welcome to a first look video from MMO Play. Today we're taking a look at Neverwinter. It's an upcoming online D&D based action role-playing game. Out of syllables. This is coming out from Perfect World Entertainment and Cryptic Studios, the guys that brought us Star Trek Online, Champions Online, other interesting free-to-play games. This is going to be a free-to-play game, no purchase for the box, no monthly subscriptions, nothing. You can currently get into the beta by registering, getting lucky, or going to their website and buying a Founders Pack. There'll be an event going this weekend, and then one more in March, and I believe another one in April, so go check it out. Also, other ways to get in, so you might want to go look at the website if you ever played Torchlight 2 or some other games from Perfect World. So let's take a look at this game. It is based on the Forgotten Realms universe for Dungeons & Dragons, so if you're a fan of the series, maybe you've played Neverwinter Nights, maybe you've read some of the books from some of the authors like Ed Greenwood or R.A. Salvatore, something to look into. You can see right now I am working on a Elf Rogue. It's the Rogue Trickster. It's one of the 3 classes available in the first beta weekend. We'll look at the other beta weekends as they come out, and probably look forward to seeing some new classes. I'm looking forward to seeing the Mage. Right now we got the Rogue, the Mage, or the Rogue, the Warrior, and the Cleric. So, you can see right now it says roll characters, but really stats, you get 2 different options. I'm going to go with the 20 dex one, a little higher. That, and at least in pencil and paper, even numbers give you bonuses. So, if I were to go with 19 dex, I would get +4 to my dex rolls versus +5 for 20. Don't know if that's the case here, but since I played so much D&D when I was younger, especially 3rd edition, I just have to go with the even number for my primary stat. You can see the character customization's fairly in-depth. There's a lot of options. There's even sliders in the bottom row. We're going to just kind of briefly go through that. I'm going to go a few more seconds and then skip it and then hop into the action. You can see a nice little background too. So let's go ahead and take a look at the gameplay itself. Alright, and here we are in-game. You can see it does have a bit of almost a Terra feel to it. If you played Terra Online, you probably noticed the third-person style combat. You don't lock onto a target. You actually use your reticule to aim, and then you'll WASD move, camera pan. You can hit Alt to get out of your camera pan mode, and then bring up your little cheat sheet to show you all of your different hotkeys. You can also have a mouse cursor at that point, too. Another thing is the quest indicator. Got this little sparkly line right here. This will show you where you're going, how to get to your next quest location. It does make use of a lot of instanced questing, kind of like DDO. It also has a open world, an overworld, where you can play with other players, and you can even explore and do some WoW-style questing if you enjoy that. So you kind of can focus on the DDO style of doing dungeon crawling, or you can do the progression of the suggested story that the devs are gonna give us. And another thing that's really interesting in this game that we're gonna look at in the future is the Foundry. It is a way for players to create content for other players. And not only that, you kind of almost have a Yelp system where you can review, give it a 1 to 5 star rating, post comments of how you enjoy it. So it's one of the probably the coolest aspects of this game. Something I'm really looking forward to. Integrating player-made content into something that has kind of an MMO feel. The combat is very hack-and-slash action RPG-ish. It reminds me of a third-person view of Diablo 3 almost. You got left-click and right-click are your at-will skills. If you've played D&D 4th edition, there's 3 types of skills. There's at-will, whenever you want, once per round, whatever. There's combat skills. They're the ones you can use once per encounter skills, that's it. And then there's the third one, daily skills. That's kind of a misnomer in this game. Apparently at one point in the earlier build you had to rest in between using dailies. Here you can see a little kind of D20 in the middle of my screen towards the bottom. When that fills up, I'll be able to use my daily. So it's more of a longer cooldown. Something you hold on to. You will unlock new skills, upgrade new skills as you level. If you hit P, you'll bring up your character window, and that'll show you. And like D&D, there are feat points to specialize. I believe you start collecting them at level 10, so I haven't gotten any yet. Probably look at that as we progress more through the game. I'm going to get some more coverage of the game as we go. Someone was asking, why don't we stick to one game a little longer? Well, this time we're going to do a little more in-depth and show this is one of our highly anticipated games of the year, so it's something we want to look at in some more detail as the game progresses. Keep in mind, this is fairly early in the closed beta. They are not even at open beta yet, so this might not represent the finished product. We might see some changes between now and then. If nothing else, we're going to see at least 2 new classes. We know one of them's going to be a mage, and they know what the other one is, they just haven't announced it. Alright, my other at-will skill is a right-click, it's daggers. My rogue has a handful of daggers on him, and I can just chuck them until I run out. They'll regenerate over time, so you can see right there, it also does a pretty good job of kind of interrupting the mage for a few seconds. Shift is your dodge, so a lot like probably Guild Wars 2, where it's a pretty active combat system. You don't just sit there and take hits on the head, you actually move out of them. You get, I believe, 2 dodges, and that regenerates relatively quickly. I got a big guy up here. Other abilities I have, Q, E, and R are my others. Q is going to be a kind of jump in the air and stun my target. E is a backflip that's going to make a clone of me and it's going to taunt for me. So kind of like a taunting totem from Path of Exile. But we won't have that yet. And then the other one is a blink and backstab. As you level up, you'll unlock new abilities. You can kind of pick the 3 active abilities you like the most. So it's a way to customize and specialize your character. And then 1 and 2 will be your daily powers. 3, 4, 5 will be your consumables. So my potions, in this case, health pot for 3. That was my Q, which is an encounter power. So he has a cooldown, so I can't use it for a minute. Get out of that circle. So thankfully, bosses with big attacks do telegraph their attacks. So you do have to get out of them. So dodge away from them. You can also, a lot of times, just the normal hits are easy to avoid. This is going to be the first boss. This is obviously very easy content. This is just introducing us to gameplay mechanics. So the bosses will often drop a piece of gear. If you're in a party, there is a need, greed, pass system. There's also unidentified items that you have to ID. Well, how do you know if you want to need something that is unidentified? One nice thing about the system is an item in red means you will never be able to use it. So it kind of warns you if it's not for you. I believe an item in gray is an item you can use in the future, whereas the normal looking items are the ones you can use right now. It'll be in green if you need to identify it too. And then after you kill the boss, you guys figure out your loot. There will be a chest at the end. This will have a drop that's meant for your character, your class, and everyone will get access to it. So there's no need to fight over that. There's no DKP system. This is a co-op game. There is PvP planned. You can see near the minimap, there's actually an announcement about PvP. So they're going to do some of that today. Maybe I'll hop in and get some recorded. And then they also have an announcement for the Foundry for crafting. So the developers are actually doing a lot of events to kind of introduce players to the game mechanics. So this is a very event-driven game. There's going to be a story and quest hubs, just like WoW and other MMOs. But there's all kinds of other content. We're going to look at a lot of it. I'm hoping to get some coverage of some Foundry action today, so see if we can get some of that later. You can see the skill tree. This shows up your skills. As you unlock more, you got to kind of pick and choose. Right now, I just have one of each. So, feat points for feats. That's a way to specialize your character. I'm probably going to go pretty high crit strike chance. And then, end game, you also have your like more specialized class. So, it's an interesting looking game. I like the mechanic and the idea behind the Foundry and player-made content. So, something to keep an eye on. It's going to be a free-to-play game, no purchase necessary, microtransaction system available. You can get into the beta by getting a Founders Pack. You can get into future betas if you bought Torchlight or other games from Perfect World. And look for giveaways on the website and other websites. Stay tuned to more. Thanks for watching. And look for more coverage of this game from MMO Play. It's one of our games we've been looking forward to this year. See you guys next time.